Tonight, the latest research on global warming. How big a threat is it? The innovative solutions coming from Silicon Valley.
Will the scandal blow over at San Francisco City Hall tonight? The mayor presses on with business after admitting to an affair.
From the ABC 7 News I-Team, the runaway restaurateur accused of credit card theft. Why haven't police taken action?
And the media rights dispute that could turn into a major letdown for millions of YouTube users.
This is ABC 7 News at 6.
When the world rises to meet this challenge, Silicon Valley's role will be an historic one.
Former Vice President Al Gore addressing his favorite topic today, global warming, and Silicon Valley's contribution in fighting it.
Silicon Valley seems to be gearing up to change its name to Clean Tech Valley. 1,400 of the Valley leaders gathered today to learn how it can become a center of innovation to solve climate change. And the lobbying is coming from the former vice president. The ABC 7 Moneyscope reporter David Louie reports from San Jose.
Silicon Valley built its reputation on making silicon chips that think faster than humans. However, legendary venture capitalists like John Gore are learning that tech has a new frontier. It came up last year in a dinner table discussion on climate change with his 12-year-old daughter.
We turned to her and said, well, what do you think? And she said, you know, I agree with everything that's been said up until now. And I'm scared and I'm angry. She said, Dad, your generation created this problem. You better fix it.
Former Vice President Al Gore brought that message to a State of the Valley conference produced by joint venture Silicon Valley Network. The environmental activist sees technology as a critical factor to address global warming.
This is a crisis that presents us with more danger than any crisis in the entire history of humankind. But it also presents business with the greatest opportunity of any crisis in business history.
Solar power is being embraced as one area where technology can be improved to make it more affordable for homes and for businesses.
The entire output of the solar industry last year is only 1.5 power plants, and there are about 400 power plants in the U.S. 10, 15 years from now, the equivalent statement is going to be, we prevent 4 new power plants from having to be constructed every year.
T.J. Rogers recognizes that solar power alone won't reverse climate change or meet everyone's needs. He points to a need for research into biofuels and lower emission fuels, and wind-generated power is likely to be a host of new technologies.
My guess is there will be 10 or more technologies that combined, each of the pieces of the action will make power in the United States.
Silicon Valley already has carved out a strong niche in clean technology. Investments in clean tech hit $300 million last year, with Valley companies capturing just over a quarter of that amount.
Keep the pressure on. Keep the research coming.
In San Jose, David Louie, ABC 7 Moneyscope.
Silicon Valley is also poised to lead the way in developing alternative energy sources. Solar is, in fact, the most rapidly growing energy sector. Karina Russ reports now on how demand is driving innovation.
The next big thing in solar energy looks like this: thin, flexible rolls of stainless steel with 7 layers of material to create solar cells.
All of this is based on semiconductor technology. We just use a lot less semiconductor material.
Miasole in Santa Clara is on the cutting edge of creating cost-effective solar power for the masses, and it's not alone. Venture capitalists have also funded nanosolar in Palo Alto to the tune of $100 million.
Silicon Valley perhaps could be named Solar Valley. I believe the companies that are built here will have billions of dollars of revenues and could lead the world.
The solar market is a $12 billion industry and growing at a rate of 43% a year. SunPower, based in San Jose, got its start in 1985 and now produces one of the most efficient solar panels on the market.
Our goal is to increase efficiency and lower costs so that solar becomes mainstream across the country.
The solar startups have the same goal, and they are eager to move quickly from testing and pilot production to home delivery.
Right now, miasole has 1 production line running. By the end of the year, they expect to have 8.
David Pierce has been in Silicon Valley for 20 years with 6 startups under his belt. He says this one is the most exciting yet.
This one has the added benefit of a lot of social responsibility. We're addressing energy independence. We're addressing energy security. So there's just an awful lot going for solar.
The solar players say the sun is definitely shining on Silicon Valley. In San Jose, Karina Rusk, ABC 7 News.
Now, today's event in Silicon Valley comes on the same day a summary of the latest research on global warming was issued at a conference of top scientists in Paris. The key findings: global warming is very likely caused by human activities over the past 250 years. It predicts that temperatures could rise by as much as 11 degrees by the end of the century. Arctic sea ice may disappear almost entirely during the summers. Sea levels could rise by almost 2 feet. Typhoons and hurricanes will likely become more intense. Lights on the Eiffel Tower went dark as today's report was released. The summary: the experts hope it'll prompt governments and industry to take immediate action.
The focus of attention will shift from whether climate change is linked to human activity, whether the science is sufficient, to what on earth are we going to do about it.
Despite jumping on the global warming bandwagon, the Bush administration today warned that mandatory caps on greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S. could have unintended consequences on the economy.
The war with Iraq hit home today.